All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Well, hello and good evening to all of you joining us here on the We Book It podcast. I am your host of the Monday Night Raw Dog, Coach, and I am joined once again by my esteemed co-host, Sir Claudius, joining us from a different point of view this evening, coming from his phone tonight, because unfortunately he has dealt with some technical issues, which I do hope he gets figured out soon for his own sake, because I know how frustrating that can be.
Yeah, my after 8 years, good old trusty laptop is failing. It's out of the blue with batteries. I got to get a new battery for it, and then all of a sudden, my screen gets a internal crack in it, and I'm like, I never dropped this laptop one time in the 8 years that I've had it, but apparently, according to Tank, there might be something with the circuit or something like that. So. I gotta run it to good old Geek Squad at Best Buy. See how much it's gonna cost to get all that repaired. So yeah, good old laptop is out of commission for a hot minute, so I'll be using the phone for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully you can get that taken care of quickly for you, for your own sake, like I said.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into our recap of Monday Night Raw, coming to you live from New Mexico, a place that we rarely see WWE go. So that was actually a nice change of pace. Before the entire Raw came on air, Triple H was quoted as saying that the landscape of WWE was about to change. Well, in my opinion, it was a pretty shitty landscaping job. But I digress. We start out the evening with CM Punk rightfully coming out and celebrating his World Heavyweight Championship. He comes out, he thanks his wife AJ, of course. Also, thanks Jey Uso for putting on a great match with him. Debatable, but not bad. He said 3 minutes was not enough to hold on to this title, so he is going to make sure he is going to hold on to it a hell of a lot longer. He called out Seth Rollins during his promo. He also said that there are multiple threats and multiple matches that he would not be opposed to having, aka having an open challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Said Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are threats. He also said AJ Styles, even Dirty Dom, JD McDonough, Finn Balor, Sheamus, John Cena, because they have earned and deserve the championship opportunity. And as soon as he says that, Logan Paul makes his return, causing CM Punk to yell, "Anyone but you," to which he says it for all of the WWE Universe. So Paul comes out, states his case. Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker come on out. They issue a warning that Breaker, nice little promo there from him saying that he's going to come after that World Heavyweight Championship. Then Logan Paul walked away. As he did, Breaker and Reed came into the ring to attack Punk, but then Logan Paul came back in to make the save. And that was pretty much it for the opening segment. It took 26 minutes for that opening segment. Yeah, I think I could have done a lot more with less time. I think it kind of got drawn out. The one thing that is semi-interesting is the tease of a Logan Paul face turn, or did we technically already see it? I don't know, but we'll find out later in the show if it is a full-on turn or not. See, what do you think of this opening segment?
Thought it was awesome. It was great. Good to see CM Punk back on top as champion. You know, actually have a legit celebration this time around. No cash-ins. Uh, you know, even though he's had his fair share of cash-ins on other champions. As a two-time Money in the Bank winner himself. Um, you know, actually, ironically enough, he's cashed in for that. Well, it was a different World Heavyweight Championship at the time, but nevertheless, a World Heavyweight Championship that he cashed in the past. So this is just good to see him, back as champion, and hopefully he can keep it, at least until WrestleMania and until somebody knocks him off. Um, um, I think him and Braun Breaker would be a nice feud to kick things off. And so the Logan Paul thing, yeah, wasn't too pleased to see him. But if there is a face turn coming, I think he'll be a little bit more tolerable naturally. Uh, so yeah, I wasn't too opposed to it. Hopefully they execute it, execute the face turn, in a great way. And so yeah.
All right, we get to our first match of the evening, which is a women's tag team match between Stephanie Vicaire and Nikki Bella versus Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. Um, pretty standard stuff here. Um, Raquel and Stephanie went right after Bella to cut her off from Stephanie, really going after the neck area, somewhere an issue that Nikki has had in the past, which I kind of thought was good storytelling there. Vicaire finally got the tag to come in. Um, she had a nice little cross body for a 2 count. Was getting ready for her finisher, um, but couldn't really get Raquel up. And then, as Stephanie was teasing the Devil's Kiss on the ring apron, Rodriguez blocked it, slammed Vicaire into the ring post, and then had a cheap shot to Nikki Bella, and Perez hit the Pop Rocks for the win. Um, the match itself, I guess, wasn't too bad. I think it was a great job by Raquel and Roxanne to kind of help Nikki through that match, which I think shows more about those two right now. I think there is a lot of trust, and it's crazy to think of that about Raquel, right? I mean, last year we were just talking about how she does not seem comfortable at all in the ring, and now her confidence level there is outstanding, and you see her pretty much being the difference maker in this match, kind of leading the way, and that's hats off to her. I think she has been just phenomenal during this run as a tag team partner with Roxanne. Um, the heel turn for Nikki's coming, and we're gonna get her battling for the title with Stephanie.
Oh,
But
oh,
um,
oh. Like, no. Like, no, we don't need to see her. Like, no. I'm like, she already got she already a Hall of Famer, unfortunately. And, no, just stay retired. Do what actual legends do. Well, well, you never stay retired in the world of professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
What am I kidding? But go off and do something else. Like, man, go make another Total Diva spinoff or Total Bellas, whatever you want to call it. Go do something. Just go away. You ain't gotta be on television. You ain't gotta be wrestling, trying to steal the shine away from the younger talent. Like, go on. Like, you ain't helping nobody. You ain't helping nobody. Better their career. Like Stephanie Vaquer was great without you, and she could continue to be. So I don't know why she even involved in all this, man. Like, come on now. But I'm sorry for that little rant. Uh, ugh. Go ahead, Coach.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Um, I think we both have said our pieces about this segment, don't you? Would you agree, or do you have any other thoughts about the match?
Yeah, yeah. I have no other thoughts. And this ain't got nothing to do with Stephanie and Roxanne and them. Like, it's just I'm just tired of Bella. I'm like, she did not have to come back. I'm like, she could have stayed away. Like, she just trying. I'm like, look, I get it. You trying to get some money. You trying to make sure you stay employed so you can pay back your ex husband. Like, I get it, but like, oh now, like, just do something else. Like, if you need some money, hey, call up Bree and Brian Danielson. I'm sure they can help you out. Come on now, like, nah. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, we get to our next match, which is Penta versus El Grande Americano. Penta coming out to some new pyro that they've added for him. Some pyro on the ring post. Very nice touch. Um, and as El Grande Americano came out, he had the other Americanos, Bravo and Rayo, with him. Um, pretty good start to the match. Penta caught Americano off guard, but it was when, surprisingly, Americano hit a Mexican destroyer on Penta, which came out of nowhere, and really got Penta into defensive mode. Um, but Penta, being ever resilient, came all the way back, but was then taken advantage of by interference from Bravo, um, but he was then ejected from ringside. And then, as that was happening, the other Americano slipped El Grande Americano the metal piece that he puts into his mask. Referee caught it, ejected Rayo from it, and then, as Americano was trying to get things sorted out, Penta delivered his Mexican destroyer to secure the victory. Um, if we take away the distractions from the two Americanos on the side, this was a really good match. I I don't know what they're trying to do with these other two Americanos. I think we all know what's happening with Ludwig and his version of Americano. I think everyone's kind of on board for that. It's the other two. Like, what are we trying to accomplish here? Um, However, Penta getting the win was the right call because they are really featuring Kaiser heavily in AAA right now. He's getting his wins down there, so it's nothing. Him losing this match really doesn't do much for him, and it just keeps Penta um, on his win streak. But it seems like he is losing a little bit of the momentum that he had at the beginning of the year. That's just what it seems like. See, what did you think of all this?
Coach, you know my thoughts about anything related to the word Americano.
That
How I've been wanting this shit to end for quite some time now.
is true.
Uh, like one was enough, and now we have two more. We have a whole faction. it's pissed me off, and I'm so over this shit, man. Like the only thing that if the only thing that would like make this somewhat okay is if Penta reunites with Ray Phoenix, and then they can really set some things on fire.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only way I will be okay with Penta constantly having matches with these dudes, these guys. If this results in Ray Phoenix and him getting back together, we've been wanting for since they both debuted. Like I need this to happen. But if it doesn't happen, like I just want the Americano to be gone because it was cool. It was all right when Chad Gable was the main guy for it.
Mm-hmm.
But now you take him out of the equation. I know he's hurt, or whatever, but um, I would have been fine with y'all just scrapping it all together and instead of y'all trying to like replace Chad Gable with other guys, and all of a sudden, uh, El Grande Americano is taller than what he used to be, and then less muscular.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It was one thing when like I said, I brought it up times when TNA was doing the whole thing with the suicide character, and it was, but you didn't really notice that much of a difference in like the height and like how muscular, or in like just the figure of body type of suicide between the different guys. You had Christopher Daniels, Kaz, uh,
Mm-hmm.
all these different guys that were being like portraying suicide. Like it wasn't a vast difference, so it worked. But in this case, it is a vast all of the Americanos and everybody they realized people were noticing this shit, so they just decided to have most and create a whole faction. And I'm like, yeah, for comical purposes, yeah, yeah, I get it, you know, but have it over that in AAA. That'll work for AAA, but I ain't trying to see that shit on Monday Night Raw. I ain't trying to see it on NXT. Nothing. Like no. Like it. Like come on now. It's given old school Vince era. It's given like early 2000s Monday Night Raw
Mm-hmm.
with all these comical gimmicks and shit. Like no, we don't no. We need to. It's cool to have a few, but not nah. This one per se nah. I'm cool with the New Day and what they do because they veterans in the game. They some of the best to do it. Him and Woods and Kofi, but nah, I see no nah. El Grande America. It was dumb from the start, but we tolerated it because it was Chad Gable, and he's great at what he does in the ring. So, but nah, I'm sorry, Coach. This is one of those nights where a lot of shit was just pissing me off about tonight, and especially after Triple H announced what he announced, the landscape.
Yeah.
Mention landscape, and they knew, right?
You need a new gardener for this landscape.
Yeah, shit. Apparently so. Apparently so. Like it was heavy Latinos in tonight's show. Man, God, like just when they was doing great with the content with the storyline, it's just like they go right back to square one. Like why even put out that announcement? Why like try to tease folks into thinking we about to get something great? Like the landscape changing. Oh, the landscape changing. Yeah, we got a new world champion. All right, new challengers. Yeah, it's typical for us to get when there's a new champion. There are going to be new challengers. So if that's what you mean by new landscape, yeah, yeah. Ain't like Punk hasn't been champion before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm champion. And he just won the championship. Prior to this, he won the championship before Seth cashed in on him. So I'm like, landscape, I don't know. Maybe yeah, when Braun Breaker wins it, yeah, I can see that. And then hopefully we get him versus Gunther because I think that's gonna be a fire ass match when that
Yeah.
happens. Hell, even Ilya Dragunov, if they decide to put them up in the mix, for a championship down the line. So but right now, nah, like let's chill out on the teasers, Triple H. Don't be like Tony Khan, always having these big announcements every month. Don't do that. Like it's just you're gonna do something. You're gonna do something big time. Surprise us. Like don't try to tease nothing. Like oh yeah, stay tuned for this. Stay tuned for that. No, just let it happen. Like just let it happen. Don't give us no promises. None of that. Like just let it ride out and let things happen naturally and organically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's all I ask, man. Don't nope. Because tonight's show was completely mid.
Yeah, I agree. So we get to our next segment, which is Dominic Mysterio coming out for a promo as he celebrates his defense of the Intercontinental Championship, um, claiming that there's no one who could stop him. Enter Rey Mysterio, who has been out for 7 months, making his return. Um, he then says that Dom calling himself the king of the luchadors is an insult to every previous Lucha Libre, including Eddie Guerrero, to which Dom says that no, he says he knows that he is better than his father Eddie because that's what Eddie would have wanted, and he even says he's definitely better than Ray. And Ray says, "You can disrespect me all you want, but I won't let you disrespect Lucha Libre." And then it was Ray getting the upper hand, and actually, he blocked a cheap shot and hit the 619 on Dom. Crowd was great for this segment. Um, this was a simple promo, simple segment. The one thing I don't like about this, and I think I know where they're going with this, is it looks like they are setting up a match between these two at Survivor Series. It does make sense because they are both from San Diego. It would it makes sense. It's just not my favorite pick. I would rather see Dom and Cena in this match, but I guess this is a good second place finish for the match. What do you think of this segment there? See?
Segment wise, we've seen it before between these two. I'm talking the shit. Rey Mysterio comes out there. Stands up for the leg in the history of Lucha Libre. Um, yeah, the whole Dom calling Eddie Guerrero his dad it was pretty funny. Um, and then obviously the 619. Every now and then, no matter how old your son get, sometimes they you gotta get their ass an old fashioned whooping and remind them who daddy really is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much what happened there. And I can recall, they have a win a piece against each other, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Uh,
believe so, yeah.
so they're about due for a grudge match, which is cool. I'm glad they spaced everything out. I think yeah, this would be a cool match for them to have in San Diego. And so yeah, I'm all for it. As long as they don't keep having more matches after this, I'm good. Um, but yeah, so um, oh damn, I just I saw an alert from one of the YouTubers I follow, and because I hadn't gotten caught all the way up on Monday Night Raw, just a few segments and stuff. So I kind of
Hmm.
like a little spoiler as to what happened at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. but yeah, so I'm cool. I'm cool with Ray and Dom going at it again. Um, hopefully Dom gets that face turn, and then him and Ray can, finally make amends, and father and son can live happily ever after, and back in each other's good graces.
Hmm.
We'll see how that plays out, though.
Yeah, we will see for sure. All right, we get to our next segment. It is another promo. It is actually Becky Lynch interrupting the broadcast and cuts a scathing promo about the last few weeks of her life, including the injury to Seth Rollins, Adam Pearce sending her away for a while, and Maxine Dupree thinking that she is even in the same league as her. Um, this was a simple yet very effective heel promo. Really liked her jab at New Mexico, saying the only good thing to come out of New Mexico was a TV show about how much meth you all do. A nice Breaking Bad reference that even got Wade Barrett cracking up on commentary. But what was interesting was her way up the ramp before the next match, which was the Kabuki Warriors. They had a very brief interaction, nothing hostile, but more of a respect look at each other. So, would not be surprised if those three team up together at War Games. But this was probably one of Becky's better promos. Usually, I'm not gonna lie. Usually, when she does a promo, I don't care for it. I I like this one. I think this one was really good. I will give her props on this. This was a very good promo, and again, loved loved the Breaking Bad reference because it's very rare that WWE is in New Mexico. So you got to throw something in that's going to make it stick. That will want people to come back to it. Um, that was it. That was it. What's your thoughts on this segment, C?
Yeah, promo was fire. I like when WWE kind of pushes the envelope with the content of the promos. You know, just towing that line, but not going too far overboard. I mean, I guess if you mentioned meth, uh, kind of going a little bit over the line, but it is what it is. I mean, it's the same company that they've had beer and all this other shit on television in the past, so they'll be,
Yeah.
but yeah, the promo was fire. One of the promos in quite some time. Um, probably since the early days of the man character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when she finally when she really started to take off. I think is one been one of her best promos since then. So I don't know if Maxine Dupree is going to get that championship or not, but um, I would imagine you know um, because I think they're taking the same. I feel like they're taking the same route with her that they did with Chelsea Green. Y'all know Chelsea Green at the time. I feel like was she was a heel, but the crowd still was pulling for her to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be the same situation here with Maxine because to see where Maxine came from, um, you know, she was one of the worst female wrestlers, if not the worst female wrestler on the roster. And to go from that to being, either middle of the pack or one of the top female wrestlers on the roster now, um, you know, is definitely a sight to see. I think she's definitely earning her way up to get that opportunity to even be a champion. Um, at least women's intercontinental. And so we'll see if she can knock off Becky. I doubt it. I don't think Becky's gonna lose that championship to her. I think she'll probably lose it to someone else that you know um, that WWE is probably a little bit more higher on than Maxine Dupree.
hmm
I don't know who that will be, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone from NXT gets called up and then eventually you know gets thrust into that position to challenge Becky. We'll see. I think we'll probably know more information uh, heading into the next Saturday night's main event or into the Royal Rumble. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. I was cool with the promo. It was fire. So we'll see how everything plays out with Becky and Maxine.
All right, then we go to our next match, which is the Kabuki Warriors versus Bailey and Lyra. Kind of building off of last week's ending with Bailey and Lyra losing to Charlotte and Alexa, and then the Kabuki Warriors coming out to attack both teams. Um, for me, in this match, Kari Zane stole the show. I think she did phenomenal. I also think it's funny. I think she is forgetting that she is supposed to be a heel character because she is still interacting with the crowd as if she's a face. And I think it's really funny. But I think it works in this aspect of the storyline because she's not really the heel in this storyline. Asuka's the main one.
Mhm.
She's more in that trapped in that abusive relationship and doesn't know how to break free. And I think the crowd is sympathizing with her on that. But either way, this match happened. There was another beatdown after the match when the Kabuki Warriors won, and Charlotte and Alexa came out to make the save and sent the Kabuki Warriors flying. Great match overall, though. Um, I would be intrigued that we might get a triple threat tag team match for the women's tag team championship in the near future. I would not be upset with that, possibly at next Saturday night's main event. But overall, I think a great match between these four women. See what you think of this one.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, this match was pretty solid. I think, I think it's good that they're showcasing, continuing to showcase um, the talent on the roster with the women's and the women's tag team division. Um, I do foresee a triple threat championship match in the future. Um, which would be top tier because a lot of these women that's in this rank that'll be in that match are all all former world champions. You got Oscar, uh, you got Charlotte, you got Alexa Bliss. Um, Man, who was the other?
Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey. And then you got Lyra, former NXT champion. Um, did Kairi Sane ever win? Did Kairi Sane
No, Kairi Zane's never won.
NXT? She never won NXT.
Mm-mm.
It was only Oscar and Io. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, yeah. A lot of these women, have either won tag team gold or they've won, uh, mid card to world championship titles in the past. So it'd be very star studded. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't think it'll happen. Survivor Series. It'll probably be at the next Saturday night. The next Saturday night's main event. Um, so or they might do it on Monday Night Raw. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So um, Oh yeah, it was great. It was a pretty solid match for the most part. I just like that they're continuing to showcase the women's tag team division overall.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we get to our next match, which is a tag team championship match between AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus the Judgment Day. A lot of back and forth action. Dom Mysterio was at ringside to try and help out the Judgment Day, but his tactics backfired when he tried to intervene and he was caught by the referee. It eventually led to Finn Balor hitting the coup de grace on McDonough by accident. Um, as Dom was getting ready to hit AJ with the IC Championship, Sheamus came out and hit Dom, but Balor also had the shillelagh that he took from Sheamus, hit it on Styles, but Dragon Lee broke up the pin. And then finally, it was the Phenomenal One delivering a Styles Clash to McDonough for the win and retaining the tag team championships. Not as good as the 2 weeks ago match with that they had, but still pretty solid match. Gotta like Sheamus being thrown into the IC title picture. Because again, it's the one title that he has not won yet. So I'm glad they are keeping him in that storyline. But overall, solid match, and I think it eliminates the Judgment Day from getting the tag team championship back. See your thoughts on this one.
I thought the match was great. I think just watching the highlights, as towards the end of it, everything they were on fire. Dragon Lee, AJ, everything was on fire. Sheamus shows up, help out, kind of even the odds as Dom was making his interference. Um, yeah, I definitely think that's him and Sheamus and Dom will be another good feud coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if Sheamus knocks off Dom. For the championship, since this is the one championship he has not won yet. And so I think it'll be about due for him to get it, even though he may not keep it for a long time, but it's him being able to win it, maybe hold it for about a good month or two. Uh, will be acceptable as it pertains to the AJ and Dragon Lee thing. I'm glad they retained because I'm tired of seeing Judgment Day hold championships. And so, yeah, I would prefer to see another tag team step up to face AJ and Dragon Lee. So we'll see. We'll see how who decides to face them at some point in time. Um, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a New Day again, or a New Day decide to come back and stake their claim for the championships. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be opposed to that because we know how legendary those two are as a group. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them two versus AJ and Dragon Lee.
All right, we get to our main event, the supposed changing of the landscape of WWE, and it's the same main event we have seen for the last 2 months. It's CM Punk and Jey Uso as a tag team taking on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Um, this match was about, um, it happened. It eventually led to a double countout from all four men, but it was the heels of the Vision taking out Jey Uso with a spear and then a tsunami. CM Punk grabbed a chair to try and get rid of the heels, but it only led to the heels getting their own chairs, which it's crazy to think, right? Like, it's actually smart heels of like, oh, he's got a chair, let's back off. No, let's grab our own chairs and let's make it an even fight. Like, thank you for being logical. But then it was Logan Paul who came out and was standing next to CM Punk with his brass knuckles, and what looked like his face turn being solidified was thrown out the window, and he punched CM Punk, stared down Paul Heyman, and then gave Paul Heyman his brass knucks, pretty much saying that he is with the Vision now. Interesting ending, sure. Same old crap, for sure. Not the best Monday Night Raw, especially after Saturday night's main event when you had a pretty good show. And yeah, it just didn't hit well for me tonight, honestly. I give it a C. But C, what do you think of the main event and Raw overall?
Yeah. Like they're just taking people out, plugging new people in. I'm over the Vision at this point, man. I'm over it, man. Like it. Once you take away the main guy, he's hurt. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point, man? I look. Like I said, I'm down for CM Punk having all kind of challengers. It is what it is. I'm not opposed to it at all. But we ain't got to keep plugging in and taking people out of the same group, out of this group, man. I get it. You want to have a dominant faction on the roster, but Logan Paul, that's the best you can do. That's the best you can do.
Yeah, probably.
God, I don't know, man. This night was just weird. Like I don't know, man. I can't vibe with it. I couldn't vibe with it tonight, man. Outside of the a couple of matches or whatever, maybe the one of the segments. Obviously CM Punk, his championship address. Outside of that, I wasn't really vibing with much else, honestly. And Becky's promo, obviously, but yeah, everything else, I could have did without.
Yeah, I agree. Very, very bland show tonight. Well, that's going to wrap it up here for another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog. Thank you all for tuning in. If this is your first time watching, please like, share, and subscribe to all of our content. And to your current viewers, please leave a comment on what you want to be seeing from us. We have plenty of shows going on throughout the week, and we always want to hear from you and see what you like, see what you hate, see what we need to do better on. We'll take it with a grain of salt and go from there. But for Sir Claudius, I am Coach. Big shout out to Virgil running the controls for tonight's episode. Shout out to you, Virgil, for being the producer behind the scenes. And we will see you next week for another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog.